You know what? I actually love General Motors. I'm going to say it. A lot of people hate them, and I'll be criticized for saying that. I do. But I'm very concerned that their CEO is clinically insane. And I say that in genuine sincerity. Her recent comments, in combination with some of the wacky claims she made last year, just aren't the words of a logical, reasoned, strategic person who has a hold on their emotions. And frankly, I'm very concerned. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you here. Hope you had an amazing day. And you probably don't want to wait around and hear any gibberish from me talking about my son's BMX YouTube channel, but I'm going to do it anyway. Please, if you can, click on the link in the description below, subscribe to their channel. They would be stoked. They need to get 1,000 subscribers so they can start making a little bit of pocket money from their YouTube videos that they make about themselves riding bikes. And we'll start making some more videos and make it a bit more about the three of us, my two boys and I. We go to lots of races and training together every week, about 4 days a week, and it's very much our lifestyle. But anyway, moving on. Mary Barra. Well, as you know, she made some interesting comments last year. She claimed, well, Tesla doesn't exist. Well, she didn't say Tesla doesn't exist, but, you know, she kind of did the Joe Biden thing and wouldn't say Tesla's name for a little while there. She said that GM is leading the world in electrification. She said General Motors will beat Tesla in 2025. She made all, I don't know where to start. I just don't know where to start. It's so funny. It's sad. And well, her latest comments in isolation may not be indicative of someone who is insane, but when you put all the pieces together, when you line up all the comments in a row, I seriously am questioning her sanity. Now, Barra has just come out and said to the Detroit Free Press that her struggle to define General Motors' purpose has been something that's been bothering her lately. Now, Barra came out to the media. She wanted to tell the media that she'd come up with a new catchphrase. Seriously. She called it GM's Statement of Purpose. Now, Barra claims with a straight face that General Motors' Statement of Purpose that she came up with in the late hours of the night, thinking long and hard, and what it's going to attract quality staff, quality new recruits, people that General Motors need to move the company into the future, to the business. She legitimately believes that this catchphrase that she came up with is going to drive all these people to say, no, we don't want to work for Tesla. Yeah, we want to work for GM because of her catchphrase. Seriously, that's what she actually said. Now, she said that when composing the statement, she struggled at first to find the right words, only to find inspiration from General Motors' 100-year-old articles of incorporation. Barra, who spoke on Axios's What's Next Summit on Tuesday last week, touched on when General Motors will start selling personal self-driving cars as well. But let's get back to the finding General Motors' purpose. Every company needs to understand why they exist, Barra said. Yeah, pretty simple, isn't it? Anyway, our purpose at General Motors is to pioneer the innovations that move and connect people to what matters. So that's it. That's what's going to save the company. Her catchphrase that she didn't write herself. Come on, no CEO writes these catchphrases themselves. Everyone knows they have writers that do this for them and they pretend they came up with it themselves. Anyway, I'm going to repeat it. Our purpose at General Motors is to pioneer the innovations that move and connect people to what matters. Now, what goes on next and what she says next shows the internal workings of her brain. Well, not something that I'm following. Barra says she hopes that this statement she came up with, which she didn't come up with, will guide employees' decision-making every day, and that it will attract new talent who want to work for a company that is doing something of value to society. Now, I should point out the fact that they still sell millions of cigarette expelling, not really cigarette expelling, but you get my point, millions of internal combustion engine vehicles, and they still plan on selling millions of them in 2030. They're not planning on going EV until maybe 2035. All EV I'm talking about here. And, you know, I was driving around today. It was a warm day with my windows down. It was kind of disgusting. You know, I don't live in the city. I live in the outer suburbs, right? The middle suburbs of Melbourne. And even there, driving around with your windows down, you are constantly choking on fumes, which if you know what those fumes are doing to you, well, you have to wind your window up. You have no choice. They just cause cancer. They do. They cause inflammation in the body and they cause cancer. We've got numerous studies on this. It's the truth. General Motors is not currently serving society in some amazing utopian kind of way. They make vehicles that pollute the planet. That's the reality. The amount of vehicles they produce right now that don't pollute the planet is less than 2% of their manufacturing. Less than 2%. So Mary Barra, you're not convincing anyone of this whole idea that General Motors is some company that's setting out to save the planet. You're setting out to save your own skin because guess what? You didn't get in the game early enough. That's what happened. Now you go like, yeah, we better jump in. We better jump in. Why? Because we want to still exist and not go bankrupt by 2030. This is what she said. It's hard to pick the words, and you want it to be something everyone can remember to help guide them every day. And we were kind of stuck. So she went to another CEO, someone she did not name, but for whom she has tremendous respect. And he said, look into your past, Mary. Look into your past. Now, personally, I'm imagining that this other CEO she went to was maybe that guy in Kung Fu Panda. What was the name of the turtle in Kung Fu Panda? He's like the Yoda turtle, and he teaches the panda how to look into his past and find himself. She says, we actually got out the articles of incorporation for General Motors, and it was so inspiring because they talked about pioneering. Barra said, I'm getting goosebumps as I read this. It's amazing. Sorry. You have to mind my cynicism today. I don't take this. Yeah. That inspired her to use that word in their purpose statement. They talked about electric vehicles over 100 years ago, Barra said. Yeah, no shit, 100 years ago. What have you been doing for the last 100 years, Mary? Well, I mean, General Motors and Mary. That really was instrumental in us defining our purpose and finding that connection. So General Motors, one of the world's most altruistic companies that's saving the planet, produced 27 electric vehicles in the fourth quarter of 2021. And somehow Mary Barra believes they're literally doing something amazing for the planet. They're leading the world in the electrification of the automobile. They're not being pushed into it by other companies or by the market. They just decided in and of themselves, even though they knew 100 years ago the EV was the future, that they would wait 100 years and then lead the industry by building 27 EVs in an entire quarter of a year. Yeah, Mary, you are crazy, certifiably crazy. I'm sick of hearing this marketing baloney coming out of your mouth. I'm fed up with it. You know what? Herbert Diess and Jim Farley, at least some of what they say makes sense. In fact, at least the majority of what they make sense. And don't get me wrong, it's not that you're a female. I have nothing against females. Female CEOs are fantastic. They're great. I've worked for some that have been amazing, way smarter than me, people who I recognize were just brilliant at what they do. Mary, I don't know. You're off with the fairies. You're getting high before work. You're coming to work high as a kite, making up these ridiculous statements that you think are going to drive people to the company. I don't think any logical person in their right mind is going to read this statement and go, oh, hell yeah, I want to work at General Motors because of this ridiculous catchphrase that Mary Barra just came up with. Anyway, that's what I think. And sure, maybe I'm being critical on GM, but maybe I'm not. Maybe GM needs a CEO, whether it's a male or a female, I couldn't care less. Needs a CEO who's in touch with reality, who actually will inspire people to join the company, because people are leaving General Motors, believe it or not. So inspiring more people to join who have the talents that General Motors needs will be very difficult. Why? Who are they competing with? Tesla, right? Very, very hard to compete with Tesla when they are the most desired for place to work in the US, right? Surveys have said that. They're competing with Ford. They're competing with Stellantis. They're competing with Lucid. They're competing with Rivian. They're competing with other startups. It's a tough industry to hire the right talent. And it's not going to just happen by magically making up some wacky catchphrase and then telling us some wacky story about how you came up to make up a catchphrase that you didn't even make up yourself. Anyway, this is the company that signed and invested into the two worst, dodgiest automotive companies in the history of the automotive industry, Nikola and Lordstown Motors. Both of these companies lied and lied and lied. And YouTube, well, everyone on YouTube knew exactly what was happening. There was videos everywhere. The only people that didn't know what was going on were Mary Barra and General Motors. Now, GM has subsequently withdrawn from its deals and agreements with Nikola, but not until the Hindenburg report exposed the incredible lies, which were obvious to anyone with half a brain, and fraud that was going on at Nikola. In addition, on the 1st of March 2022, General Motors sold its stake in Lordstown Motors. Now, believe it or not, General Motors actually owned 7.5 million shares of common stock in Lordstown with an equity value of $75 million US, including in-kind contributions and $25 million in cash. GM's stake was less than 5%. Rant over. Let me know in the comment section below. Am I being too harsh, or do you agree? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.